Okay, thank you very much, Diane, for the invitation. Such a pleasure to be here in that famous architecture and to present the work of a SciComLab, which is a spin-off of a Muthesius Academy of Fine Arts and Design in Kiel in Germany, where I'm professor for interactive media. The SciComLab does research in communication with new media technologies, and in this case, Anna, I would pledge for the avant-garde thing to do. We offer design competence to the science and the science near markets because we think excellent science needs excellent design. It all started 10 years ago when the Muthesius Academy was invited to join the Cluster of Excellence Future Ocean. The aim of the Future Ocean Cluster is to increase our understanding of the ocean change and its associated potentials and risks. Clusters of Excellence are initiatives of the German government to enforce the quality of research in German university. And interdisciplinarity was an important characteristic of these clusters, but it was quite unique that an art university was part of such a cluster. So 10 years ago, we created our first exhibition for the Future Ocean Cluster. We defined experience design as an emotional spatial experience, and the scientists were quite fascinated about our fresh approach to their topics. We developed a spatial narration, a situation close to the unreal space the deep sea is, unknown and a place to explore. So we darkened the space and put the visitor in an underwater-like situation, surrounded by underwater sounds. We had monitors that showed endless screens of a seafloor, and we put sand on the floor to create the imagination of being in a natural environment. There were also projections, fish-like creatures that followed the visitors, and the kids had a lot of fun to play with them. There were also scientific models of the seafloor measuring. And we had the gear and the equipment they use mounted on the ceiling, like these floats and gliders. There were also hands-on models like this wave simulator. And we also had some terminals where you can get some deeper information about the research. This is 10 years ago. You can see it on the picture quality also. So, but most important was that we created the space for deceleration. The next thing that we wanted to try was to create a single exhibit with this special atmosphere of the exhibition that we called the Future Ocean Explorer. It was a 6-meter-long multi-touch table we built from the scratch. And the intention was to represent the characteristic and the atmosphere and the experience of the exhibition. We used typographic swarms to structure the content, and our metaphor was fishing for information. The virtual tank contained interviews with scientists and interactive graphics like that global conveyor belt. And we also integrated a module which shows the portraits of the scientists who were part of a network. So one could examine how they are connected to each other. Our aim was to enable a collaborative exploration of information and stimulate the discussions of the users with each other. So what we found out is excellent science needs excellent communication to unfold its whole range and meaning. And designers are experts in visualization. Design and art has a long tradition in visualizing also the invisible, not only the physical world. And designers and artists can create and influence atmospheres for comprehension and reflection. So the next thing we wanted to find out, how do scientists communicate to each other? And as you know, they normally do it with poster sessions. Here you can see people crowding together in front of a paper poster. And it's a vivid and extremely communicative situation that we like very much. And, but most of that posters, and I don't mean your posters down there, most of that posters are bad design. They are too tiny typography, they are too small, and too complicated graphics. The information on the poster is often hard to understand, and especially if you're not in the topic. So we wanted to find out if we can create a next generation interactive scientific poster, which is both highly communicative and visual, attractive and elegant. So we developed the next generation scientific poster to examine how a digital and interactive poster could improve the presentation of a research topic. The first version of the poster contained specific information about submarine landslides and dangerous tsunamis. It has 4 chapters: causes, mechanics, impacts, and statistics. We use 3D animations to support the scientists' talk visually. And we also created a virtual core sample to explain the different sediments. The poster explains the physical differences of slides under the water, and here we do use a real-time physics engine. A specific example of a potential landslide near Norway simulates how a tsunami could affect the Atlantic Sea and the North Sea. So I think you got the impression I have to speed up. We made an evaluation of that, and we found out that the interactive poster enables the scientists to talk about their research in various narrations. They can do it in a script-like and linear mode, or in a repository mode, where we just react to the audience. The consistent design of a poster makes it easier to follow the jumps and the thoughts of a narrator. So let's have a short look about how scientists usually visualize their data. For example, here are 2 maps showing ocean observation activities. The scientists wanted to explain the growth of the ocean observation over the last 250 years. But what do these 2 maps have in common? Different colors, different plots, and even different projections make it hard to compare. The viewer has a lot of intellectual work to do just to find out what these 2 maps have in common. So most of the scientific visualization are very heterogeneous, and the first task for design is to create consistency. And for us, this is the first step into the narration. Our solution: with a consistent design, the data becomes more comparable. You can easily see the growth and the change of the ocean observation from 1967 to 2015. How do we do that? We take the spreadsheet data of a scientist and feed our engine. Our engine is programmed in VVVV, which is a visual editor with nodes and operators. And we program the 3D globe to map the data. And when we test the projected data on our model, we rethink the visualization and ideas and features, and this is an iterative process between coding and design. The animation shows the changes and developments over time, and the growth of the ocean observation network becomes visible. It is a layer on our Earth which is normally not seen, and it is interactive. You can choose the level of detail. So here, for example, the Californian coast where we go in and out, very parallel. So there are different structures and patterns to recognize. It enables the scientists to see all the different data at once. It demonstrates the research in a whole. New correlations can be examined. Also shorten that. So in the poster of ocean observation, we visualize the variety of the sensing and measuring platforms. And when you look at it, you can immediately see the different structures and patterns of the measurements. And this is just like self-explaining. And this is important for the scientists' presentations to make the audience understand. So our conclusion: how does design help scientists to communicate their research topic? Design does not only make results just look nicer. The visual language is essential to make useful comparisons. It gives structure to data and a new perspective to look at. Interactivity is a perfect method to enable different points of views. In our example, it gives the scientists the possibility to different narrations depending on their audience interests. And with all that interdisciplinarity in modern research teams, a consistent visual language enables knowledge transfer between these disciplines. I hope that you also recognize some consistency in our work over the last 10 years. In our opinion, we transferred the experience of an exhibition into that single scientific poster. And in March 2017, we will publish that book, Sensing the Ocean. It's about our experience of 10 years cooperating in the Future Ocean Cluster. And so please stay in contact that you get your own copy. Thank you very much.